In this vast region known as the Caucasus, an area situated between the Black and Caspian Seas, a long history of conflict has created borders that are often illogical, with contested boundaries that divide ethnic groups, rupture trade, split previous economic and political interdependencies, and render useless geographical roots once shared in friendship. And so it is with Limaria, a small, relatively poor state that for years fought in a low-grade insurgency with its eastern neighbor Atropia over the disputed Lower Janga region, an autonomous province populated largely by ethnic Limarians. The two countries have signed a UN-brokered peace and reconciliation accord, but reminders of the bitter clash are ever present. That dispute, as well as those fleeing the Iraq conflict, generated more than 1 million refugees, plus an additional 360,000 ethnic Limarians who now live in the country after leaving Atropia. Ethnic tensions between Limarians, the majority of whom are Christian, and their Muslim neighbors date back almost to the founding of Islam. In recent history, Limarians still resent the events of 1944 when the country forfeited a territory to Caleria that includes the historic Mount Ararat, said to be the final resting place of Noah's Ark. In a region rich with natural resources, particularly oil and gas, Limaria is the only country in the Caucasus with landlocked status, completely isolated from the hydrocarbons that sustain countries such as Atropia and Ariana. It has, over time, cultivated a strong economic and military relationship with Danovia, relying on the larger, more powerful nation to provide its natural gas via a pipeline that passes through Gorgas. But unlike Gorgas, another relatively small country, Limaria does not benefit from being a portal for the transport of hydrocarbon products to Europe by oil and gas-rich countries because historically it's been seen as an unstable area. Limaria's military consists of a skilled army and a small, agile air force capable primarily of defensive operations. With an estimated 70,000 troops, the army's focus now is on maintaining the country's sovereignty and keeping a careful watch over the once disputed Lower Janga region. In the military arena too, Danovia's influence is significant in terms of doctrine, tactics, and equipment, and also with many officers from Limaria attending military school in that country. In many ways, the steadfast ties with Danovia are welcome. Years of conflict with Atropia ruined the Limarian economy, and the country viewed the ceasefire as a way to begin rebuilding, a process in which the larger neighbor's involvement is considered essential. With no access to sea or ocean, Limaria is also dependent on Danovia and other neighbors for its export trade. The list of items it produces include knitted clothing, canned goods, and aluminum foil. It also mines copper, zinc, gold, and lead, but constant delays plague development of those resources. Main trading partners are Danovia and Ariana, with limited interactions to Caleria and the EU. Calling itself a pro-democratic state, Limaria talks about constructing a Western-style parliament, but in truth the country is run as an autocracy, where a small group of wealthy businessmen, along with high-ranking government and security officials, operate the system in a way that benefits them and not the people. Some global watchdogs rank Limaria on the same level as Syria and Nicaragua in terms of a criminally influenced government, placing them at the bottom quarter of all countries. But like other nations in the Caucasus, global media is overtaking the practices of this ancient part of the world. Ownership of television stations remains incestuous, with government controlling most content as it does with most radio stations. However, the World Wide Web enjoys relative freedom, and even though the infrastructure in Limaria is dial-up and therefore slow, an increasing number of citizens are seeing the realities of both their country and the world through the unfettered flow of information on the internet.